Hey everybody, it's Dune, back with a little Unreal Engine 5. Today we're going to work on a faction system, but just to catch you up, for the last time we were working on a XP system. Let me actually get rid of these daggers. Some normal ones. So we can't actually be killed. I've got a flag for that, but... So if we... God, I've got way too many hit points. All right, let's start this for me to show it. Dawn of a new day, like that. Actually, I don't need that. Put these in a chest. Okay. So if we, oh, it reminds me, I didn't fix assassination to give us XP. Let me go. So we've done 100% damage to this character. If I can kill her. Come on. Just quick run away. Alright, we got full XP for her. Let's get back over here where some of these ones where we don't do 100%. Wait for somebody to get hurt. This is what we want. Electric Mage. They're awesome for this. Boom. You'll see all these guys die. We won't get anything for them. Boom. 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 We got nothing for these guys. No loot, no XP. And then this one, we got like 15 XP and we'll practically get no loot, like 15 coins. We got nothing. These mages are freaking insane. Why am I not doing? Health bar seemed like it wasn't updating. Maybe I was looking at the wrong health bar. Where'd he go? There he is. Alright, so I got like 37 XP for him. I need to jot down, and I need to work on assassinations, getting XP. I don't want to work on that today, but we do need... to fix that. Okay. Nothing's showing up on Discord. Okay. All right, so I started kind of a little bit. So really what I did last time was to get it so that you didn't get XP for things you didn't deserve. And that's going to be even more in a faction system when you actually have NPCs on your side. They're going to be doing damage on things, and you shouldn't get XP for that. Now, eventually, they're going to have their own XP system. They're going to, get XP, and maybe you get to choose what they, spec into, like farming or something, and or combat or whatever. You make them guards, or you get to choose. But they're going to have their own XP system. That's not implemented yet. But in that direction, we need to have them have a faction system. So they need to be able to, be on your side, be opposite the other enemy AI. And for you to be able to give them directions, they also need to be that. So I created a couple things. Created a component, faction component. I'll bring that up. It's absolutely got nothing on it so far. It's just named. Got nothing in it yet. And I created a interface called iFaction, which I actually did add is enemy. We're probably going to want is ally, is friend, I don't know. We'll work on those details. Initially, I just want to be, I need to replace all the locations. So right now, if we go to the player character, currently I added that faction thing here. So we go to interface. Actually, here it is right here, is enemy. So this returns true for anything that queries it, currently NPCs, and which would be the enemy, right? Enemy AI. We're going to do the same thing with the enemy AI, which actually did that too, though nothing queries this just yet. Currently not. That way all NPCs are friendly to each other. But we're gonna turn this on. They're gonna just kill each other right now until we get what's the word I'm looking for? Some sort of faction thing in. And we're gonna have to make that part of the save game. Or some means of. So there'll be some base factions like raiders and scavengers and whatever factions, and raiders, they just hate everybody or something, and scavengers, they would rather not fight people. But raiders and scavengers, well, then we do need to be our raiders. If a raider calls a scavenger enemy, then the scavenger needs to return enemy as well, otherwise they won't attack. We'll have to come up with some sort of table, lookup table. Some of it can be a data table for set factions. And then others will be, player factions or something. It just might be player, I don't know. Guess the only is if this ever became multiplayer, maybe you'd have it a little differently. Currently not multiplayer. So, how to find where we need to replace it. So I'm just going to search for enemy. Find in blueprints. In the tools, find in blueprints, I just have a window open permanently on my hotbar. All right, so we have get enemy AI, hit enemy, get enemy. Like, it's all over the freaking place. Enemy, 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 enemy. Currently, it checks the tag of the character. We now need to switch it to using our iFaction. So, for instance, merchants, they're not going to have this iFaction, and therefore it just returns not an enemy, and so the AI won't attack them. And we're just going to start clicking through this. Anything related to enemy here? Get owner, get a textile. Now, some of these things like this is from my personal save game. It's going to be a little different if you're following this in your regular FCS person, but it should be similar. I just don't remember what it was. Enemy, I don't see enemy in here. The function's not named enemy AI. Variable enemy AI. Here. This. That's what it was referring to as a variable. Get enemy AI. All right, so where is this being set? All right, so this is the input buffer component. Somebody calls enemy AI on the input buffer component. The problem is this variable is a very similar name all across the FCS. So it's not going to be as exactly easy. It was a little bit better. Enemy AI. No. I'm really experimenting right here, right now. Put buffer. What's that? 2. No. Not input buffer. All over the freaking place. So if I do where was that we did that last surge here? See, it uses double ampersands. Supposed to be a little easier in 5.1. I'm using 5.0. This will do the same as the find in browser or find in blueprints. It just actually goes to the find in blueprints and does the search there. This may not help though. Components. Here it is, set enemy AI. Okay, so what is this doing? This is literally actually a lot of our... So this is enemy AI and it's saying, is it an enemy AI? So it is saying to the component that it's an AI. May not be what we're looking for. What we need is when it queries and it goes to attack somebody and it checks, is the thing we're checking an enemy? We might have to go to the... This might all be relevant or not at all. But for the most part, if we look at this buffer, it's just saying, is this an AI? If it is, then do this. If it's not, like the player, go down this rabbit trail and handle things differently. So this name is a little misleading now. Should we change it? Like to is AI instead of enemy AI. I think so. Rename is AI. So that changed it there. Taking damage. Whoops. No. AI. This will help us find enemy easier. You can see that's changed. Ranged component. Component. Source component. Buff component. I think is AI makes a lot more sense too than, because that's what it's checking. You know, just checking to see, is it an AI? And then handle things differently than if it's not. If it's a player, players do things differently, like player controller stuff. So it could have checked differently. I've made a interface that's iPlayer, and I can just check to see if something implements iPlayer, and if it is, it's the player. I don't have to check like the tag of the player. In fact, I've replaced a lot of those. Okay, we did not need to go there. Okay, so here we're good. Save, compile. That ought to help us a little bit. We actually change this here, so it's is AI again. Is AI, we do this. Not do something else. Takes a little bit for that find thing to actually give us. So all these, which were enemy, currently said enemy AI. Let's just search for enemy again. Not enemy AI. component. Okay, so this is checking if the range component is an AI. Again, do something different. So a player gets a delay, 20 seconds for some reason. Yeah, so till the arrow, despawns after they shoot it. Otherwise, AI is pretty much instant, like when they shoot you. That's not of interest to us. Maybe you want to save that. Hit enemy, attach to enemy. Somewhere in here, maybe arrow arranged or whatever. It's checking to see if the target is an enemy. We need to find those. Save, I don't know. So this is basically saying if player put up a widget. That's all that's really saying. AIs don't need widgets. They don't need feedback. Only plug in if you want burst FX to apply when an enemy is directly hit. I have no idea what that's all about. Some beard implemented. Right now it seems like it happens anyways. Return value from the line trace. And if it hit the ground, so not quite what we're looking for. Actor has tag. This is kind of what we're looking for. So if it's a player or it's an enemy, apply damage flexible. Interesting that it's got both of them. Image first, actors. This might be one of the things we need to swap out. Quick hit results. Play sphere trace by channel. I guess it's just saying if it's attackable. Not if it's an enemy or a player. It's just saying if it's, this this trace is could pick up cubes on the ground or whatever, trees, something, and it's just saying, is it something that we can attack? All right, so thinking of saying, is it implement I faction? But that's not the case, because sometimes I have the NPCs and stuff returning, no, we're not enemies. So that's not enough. This actor, this is probably just an actor, right? So both player and enemy have, I take that back. Player does actually know. Look. Yes, okay. So yesterday I moved I made all the character classes inherit from character base, which is a class I made, to go between them in the base character class. And on that character class, I added the class interface iCharacter, which these guys used to have. Well, now they inherit it. And yesterday it was showing that they still had it here, and I was like, oh, that's unusual. So I guess it's reloading the editor. It fixed it. So on iCharacter, we can put in, like, is attackable. And then on player and on enemies, we can put, yes, we are attackable. Is it worth that change? And it sort of is, because the player in my testing, sometimes I don't have the player as a tag. But then for that reason, then I'm not attackable, and I do like being able to kind of step out of the line of fire for testing reasons. Well, then I can change that flag on the player. Okay, so is this solving anything by changing it? Or is it just changed to make a change? I personally think interfaces are faster than checking a tag, but I can't prove that. I think it makes more sense than just checking the tags and then going, why is it checking this tag? A tag. So in that circumstance, I think it makes sense. Let's go here. Character is dead, is facing. What else does it got here? Is moving. Is begin play, is in range. Right. Is attackable? Is that reasonable name? Attackable. I do like that because we can set that to a variable and we can even set it to a hotkey that we can change on the fly. Right, so going to the base enemy AI class. Need to search this. It's inherited. And we're going to say yes. You know what? Let's add one little extra word onto this. Is attackable actor. Makes it maybe a little more understandable. So this way we can set them to cubes or something, and a cube can return that value, and then therefore you can attack it like a pillar or whatever you want to set. Maybe a chest that you can break. This got, oh, it's because it's got the interface change. But we're not going to set it to true for all instances of character base. We set it for the enemy, and now we need to set it for the player. Attackable. Okay, I want to actually add a variable. In this case, we'll call it is attackable. I'm going to set that as variable. Variable usually gets default to the top. Go to the viewport. Character. Actually, no. Insert it to the top. Tick. All right, maybe we just put it as default because default's second. Go back to default. And default that to true. And we want the is attackable actor to return that variable. We should be able to click on you and see is attackable, true, and we can change that to false if we want them to not be able to hit us. Of course, only where we're calling this interface method, which we're going to work on replacing. Arrow component. I'm going to change. We're going to have to slip this into the exec. Right here. I can make room here in a second. Rid of those. Now, is that really a function of faction? No. But at the same time, yes, I think. Then maybe we should have done on faction, so character. I'm wondering if I should have put a faction then on the base character class. Just trying to think, maybe we have a faction called NPC or merchant, or some merchants can be attacked by things, or I mean, at some point, I would imagine we might have roaming merchants instead of just merchants that stand around in cities. Hmm. Kind of like that idea. All right, so I'm going to rename you. Put 2 for now. Change a lot right now. On any faction, we're going to add attackable. Faction. Right now, class settings. It's in here, but we're going to go to character base. Faction. So that's still going to show in player. Actually, no, it's showing it as inherited. Okay, cool. Cool. They should still do this, but now we want this attackable actor. Oops. Make this return to value. Different signature. We not save. Where did a parent with a different signature? refresh. Maybe just what we needed. Cleared with a different. Oh, we're gonna get rid of this one. Enemy AI. Yeah, we can just delete it. Oh, well, we're gonna have to fix that in arrow component because that's now no longer exists. Your character. Be gone. Cleared and a parent with a different signature. Get rid of you. This should be gone. Hey, bring up the character base again. I just need to compile this or something. There we go. All right. Enemy. For now is, well, actually, it's always going to return yes. Get back on the arrow component. All attackable vector. That there. There and that there. For that. All right, lots of base changes, which will now be easier going forward on things. So we need to look for actor has tag right now. This is kind of is AI on this. This is, it's supposed to check. We might have to do that elsewhere. But on faction is AI. So an enemy AI not only is an attackable actor, but also an AI. So in this, right, we can replace the is valid by changing this to a validated get. It replaces both nodes in one go, or consolidates them. And then with this, we can say is AI. Goes in this top part. Turns that there. Similar, we already got a validated get there. Another, we actually probably replaced this the other day, but that's something else. And if fighting men is target, don't switch to player. The enemy target is an AI, or if the, and it's false, meaning it's a player. I feel like but we were checking if it had actor had tag enemy AI. This is the same. We can back this up a second. Formatting just to be sure we're looking at the same. Yeah. Enemy AI tag. If actor has tag, this is the same thing. This is returning true if it's an AI. The same value, even if it somewhat reads. Like we don't know exactly how this. Disconnect this a second. Q on it. Doesn't get all squirrely. Probably bringing that up elsewhere, yes. Do is player, the faction. Or is attackable. Might set that variable to here as well, then if I did that. Friendly target. So it's the AI controller. What's he doing here? Find friendly target. And attack. Is that right? Finally, friendly target. Yeah, this is, instead of player, should be is enemy. False. The FCS AI controller. What ref do we have here? AI ref. Can I put that there? Bam. Kind of like to make that character base instead of character, but this actor, we're probably fine. So we're basically finding friend. I could make is friend and it just returns is enemy false, flipped. But at some point, I think we might want like allies, like you'll go to war for an ally, even if they're fighting somebody you normally might consider a friend. Enemy target similar. In this case, enemy. Right now this isn't considering this value, but at some point we'll be checking data tables and so forth to verify that the player character for his enemy when returned it is attackable. Will mean your NPCs cast with madness will be able to attack you. But that'll be just a thing, I guess. Be a little fun thing. We're going to have to come up with the spells and things like that. We don't have any of that yet. Keep going. Mass madness. This is saying is enemy false. I think. What's actually saying is player. Which I think is saying is it an enemy because it's the AI controller and only currently the player are enemies. This out here. I want to verify the thoughts on this before I connect this. So this is asking basically, is the target a player, which would be an enemy? And if it is, do nothing, otherwise false. Do that. Lightning. This is saying, is the actor attackable? This is very full right here. Oh my god. Come on. That. Up. Actually, that's coming from here. I hate it when it wants to save the map. Usually wants to save back. What's it showing us here? Faction component. Right now we're not using that. You can use it in the function library. I guess we did open it for something. In fact, we were just here, weren't we? Right, we need to go to maps. Get rid of those things. It's dangerous. Use the last resort. It literally says that every single time. I believed it at first, but it seems to be true. Maybe sometimes it is, but it never gives you another option of other than force delete. It never just does it. Okay, so we need to go back in here. Victor has tag. Again, this is going to be attackable actor. Attackable actor. If it is, isn't. It isn't. Damage first actors. What? Well, that makes sense. If it was checking if it was a player or if it is a actor we hit. It's an attackable actor. It's an enemy AI or a player. False. So I think I'm a little quick to delete this other stuff. Even though it makes it easier to read. That's what it's checking. Is it a player or is it an enemy? I got that right. Okay, let's straighten these out. Hmm. Wait a second. Oh, this is different hit actor. His attackable actor. We actually have that in 2 places in here. Okay, didn't notice that. It's, oh, I suppose it actually queried it twice in the same spot, so that's why it's there. We might be done with arrow component. And AI controller. Close that too. Character base. Over. Outline component is the target an AI. Or is the owner an AI? Mouth, your throat getting a little dry there. So, is AI. AI check. Literally doing an AI check. Bam. It. In. No condition. Actor is an AI. Component. No. Weapon collision. An actor. AI. Is the character. I. Okay, so this actually is not. It's not. This is actually a nod in the direction of faction. So this, even though this is doing enemy is AI, this is not what we want. We want is enemy. Guy. It's kind of the other way around, but it shouldn't matter. I don't know, maybe. Maybe we might have to switch those. I'm not sure. I think the hit actor, what are we on? Weapon collision. So this is the character attacking. So he's asking if this target enemy. I think that's right. So both of these were AIs before. Let's say friendly fire. Return not. This is actually making me think. Whoops, that's not the not I want anyways. I really want this. Yeah, let's get rid of that. I think I was going to have to implement his friend and everywhere that we have his enemy, and that just seems a little too much. I think this is what we want instead. This does it right. Apparently everything's going to be an enemy, so that return true, this would be false. Currently all AI is going to start fighting each other as soon as assuming we do this correctly. We already did that one. Not this one. I do is player. I just have is AI. We can do is AI false. So this is just shake the camera if it's the player. Maybe this isn't a faction issue. Actually, then well, does element interface there? Instead of this being true, this isn't a faction issue. Something I maybe should have fixed months ago. Didn't see it. All right, this is AI. What's this? Because we have an is valid here, but we don't somewhere earlier in there what it is. AI. This might be around where assassination. It is assassinations. Needed to see if I'm getting a little distracted, but this is where we need to go when I need to award XP. Isn't actually starting the assassination. I guess this. Assassinate, finish. Cream. No, that's not an event. This is, I think, as a breakpoint. We'll come back to that maybe. Honestly, I'm starting to think in something else, maybe. I mean, in some respects, it is just a faction issue. there temporarily. Or actor checks here. No. Or actor is tag dummy. All right, we're gonna leave this one. Clearly, it's not a reference to faction. The other one wasn't really either, but his player is really wish these interfaces could be pure functions. We don't want branch. There, right? All we really wanted. Tag. Again, same. Ref. AI. Oh, you know what we could have done? For that to a validated get. Get rid of that. I think these are a little debug wise safer because sometimes you can get the is valid throw you an error where these gets don't. Well, the is valid, which is just a macro, will go inside the macro and it'll be like your reference is accessing none, where this doesn't do that. As player block break widget. We want implements player targeting component. The hit actor. Is it an enemy or is it an AI? What are we checking here? Can actors in the area. AI in range. This should be more like enemies in range now. I think we're checking enemies in this case, not if it's an AI. But it's actually also checking is it AI. Right? And actors in the area. Because it's really checking AI in range. So is it already checking to see if, the array's already got this guy? Not. It wants to add it. So is it just an AI? Or is it an enemy as well? Because you don't want to hit your allies, right? I suppose this potentially has the possibility of then targeting the player. Let's not delete this. Well, we're just not going to use it currently. In case we have to revisit this, we can come back and see what we replaced. Leave that. Is that the only one in targeting component? Yeah. This actually might be our main termination of enemies. Targeting component. The attackable actor. God, I really wish these things could be pures. Swap these bands. Again, is attackable actor. For every one of these, really with functions, could return execs. Just have these true fault. You can have the branch, because every time it leads into a branch, 99% of the time, just be able to have the branch in the function exec. You can even do a check of this in there, and you can have a third, is not valid out. If you wanted to handle that case too. Just realized that wasn't here. We haven't ever opened that blueprint. Yeah. All right, this is a task for the AI behavior tree. This is where we're probably going to get into the realities of this system. AI false alarm. What are we checking here? Are we an AI or are we an enemy in this case? Guess we need to bring up the behavior tree now. Find where that is here. Is so we're investigating a noise. And we're saying we're doing a sphere trace out from the only 4 meters. That's not big. We're ignoring ourselves in the trace. In this case, we're saying, is it an enemy AI? Is it an AI? If it's an AI, we're going to return to our location. This is interestingly enough, this doesn't return an array. It's returning the first hit. So if the first thing it sees in the sphere trace is just another AI, this might explain, I think this explains why run this. This may not work. Partial change state. But sometimes the AI starts getting confused when there's multiple AI around me. Currently not having that issue. But sometimes they would just stop and stand there, and I think it's because they sometimes detect the AI and not me. So like, yeah, like that guy just stood there, like this guy's standing there, and those guys are standing there. Because they're like detecting me themselves and not me. And so they just stand there like confused. And sometimes they detect me and then they start attacking. I think that's the issue there. I've always kind of wondered. Sphere trace for objects. Does this not return an array of hit actors? Sphere trace for objects. You would think it would return an array. But it's only finding the first one. And it's saying if that one is a friend, let's go back to doing what we were doing. So I don't think this is exactly it, because returning to location means go back to doing what, your patrol, or just, if you're standing there just idle somewhere, go back to doing that. So this is saying, is it an enemy? Not is it an AI? In this case, it was kind of both, but we need it to be. Do we have room to move stuff? Here is actually attached to this up there. Let's do that. We're trying to say I'm going to do is friend, actually, in this case. 9. Actually thinking of adding a flag to the is enemy that would flip it for us, but just keep it the same. Is enemy. Need to not this. We'd have to switch those true false things. Need to use the controlled pawn, which is line here. No. No. No, that's the AI controller. That to that. T projectile shot. In this case, multi-sphere trace for objects. one, I guess it has to have multi in front of it if you want to return an array. Break hit result. Gracious, I guess we'll move from this side. I assume we're checking for enemy again. Enemy. Could be we're just checking for AI. I think in this case we're looking for enemy. Well, is enemy and is AI are different. If is AI, go up here. We're checking really is this friend. They want the is friend. If these were functions, but they're interface, they could return different values, and I don't want them to return different values. I need is friend to be literally the opposite of is enemy in. Really what we want. Is it a friend? What we're looking for there. It's taking damage. Is the owner a player? We check in here. Is it an AI? Is it an enemy or what? Lightning. After location. Play sound at location. Does the hit actor, is the hit actor an enemy AI? If it is, do what? If it's the player, basically saying, is it an AI? I think in this case. That's what we're checking here, not if it's an enemy. But maybe. No. I think, if it were a player, it would automatically be an enemy. You'd be checking for that, right? I think in this case, we're just checking to see if it's an AI. We might leave that. I feel we're going to have some debugging to figure out. Wait. Isn't the gap between? I think that's what we're checking for, is if it's an AI, not if it's a player. But then sure, that's what we're looking for here in this case. Player character is player. What? Sub interface? With the player character be questioning his player, so it's gotta be, it is I character. I know this was available. I've been using this all the time. It says actor has tag. Dead, we want to be attackable. Cool. We just return yes, but it, for some reason, it has this. But saying if we change that, so in this case, we want to be doing that. Actually, no, that. I think it's this. Default is true on that. What we want. Who's calling this, but is facing an enemy. An actor is an enemy, I guess, in this case. Not just is it an AI, but is enemy. Any way to make, oh, this is a interface. I was saying make this a default to self, but suppose if you put this in query, it might default to self. We'll comment text spawner. The text spawner. Okay, so I think we want implements, interface. We're done there. In task, detect closest AI. In this case, we'd probably want to detect closest enemy. Looking for 3 meters. We didn't hit anything. Proof there was a hit, false otherwise. So why is it checking hit actor if this is false? That's a really freaking good question to me. Why is it checking for a hit? I want to see what happens when... Let's go here. Turn off is attackable on us. I want to see if the AI just start attacking each other. Or maybe not aggroing on me. They're not aggroing on each other either. Obviously. I mean, by now they should be like, freaking should be a big old brawl right now if that were the case. So, gone through all of these. I'm going to hit enter on this again, but I think it just finds... Might be some of the ones we left attached. Nope. Okay, this was for dummy. We did leave in. And yeah, we had left this one attached. Connect that though. Reading component. Just checking to see if AI in range. Might be like we ignore the AI in range. What happens if we switch this to that? Nope, still nothing. Switch that back. And if this then should be AI. Egg. Egg. Detect. Yeah, and this one's not implemented. All right. Ways. Deactivates if target is found, right? Doesn't have any conditions though. But it does check. It goes reset, clear focus, reset components, get noise location, deactivates. Then the thing to the last noise location. Then it checks to see if it was a false alarm. Was well, I was thinking it should maybe have been an array that was returned, but the friend return to patrolling or whatever. Return to location. Go into target key as actor. So I think some of it's like, is it AI player controller? Checking if, AI player controller instead of just is it an enemy? Flexible combat system stuff. Like here, cast a AI controller. Updates enemy target every time AI controller updates. The owner is an AI well, once the AI controller update enemy target. Target updated on the AI controller. It actually just might be an event dispatcher. It is. And it's my brain's exploding. I was really hoping it would work. That would be that. And it would just work. Now I gotta figure out, like, really dive into this. All we really did was replace tags, and I was really hoping that would be the linchpin. Ray, what's that? Inputting updated actors. It's saying if something attacked us or we see something around us, hear something around us. This is a loop. Like the exit to this macro is that, not the completed. So coming out of this, this is doing this on every one of these. Assuming it doesn't branch or something in there and just fall off. Oh, well, maybe right there, that condition. Does the actor sense implement I character? True. Is it dead? True. Clear the target. If not, false. Is player. This might be where we need to check. Instead, is it an enemy? Enemy. Is it an enemy? We're checking before. I mean, if it was a player, would return true here. Copy this. In it. Other visual or stimuli we need to go down. I'm gonna guess that's okay. I need to find more of these is players. All right, let's check the other visuals. Let's hearing stimuli. I have that same thing as player here. Oh, it's littered all over the place. But no, this is just because they're all I character, I think. Not actually being used. Oh, wait, it should have been in the AI controller. Done searching. Let's give this a little whirl. That might have been our fix. They're attacking. I heard something. Ooh. Yes. Yes. It's a war. It's a war. And these guys over there got involved.